north, the ice began to change into land. And he said that when he looked down at the land it looked different than the normal land that he see every day in the country, in this world, right? He said that he reported initially that the grass was greener. He reported seeing huge animals that he couldn't name. He reported even seeing a woolly mammoth. And they tell you in science that the woolly mammoths are extinct, which is another lie. They're not extinct at all. They actually live on the other side of the ice wall. Okay, so the Admiral Byrd flying northward, what actually happened was he actually was flying over the first ice wall, because we are surrounded by an ice wall. Okay, and I'll try to have my team that helped me put these videos together pull up a map, if they can right now, of the ice wall. So I'll pause a second and let's get a second to pull the map up. So you all out there got a visual of what I'm saying. All right. Okay, so hopefully they have pulled the map up right now for you, or it should be getting pulled up. But if you look at the map, what you will notice is you have multiple maps. The map that we see today is not the true map of how the planet looks. Right? You have to go back to look at the ancient maps. You have to study maps. You have to get into the study of topography, the study of geography, specifically topography, which deals with the landscape, and the structure of the land. If you start getting into that, then you will truly understand how much they lied to us about with these maps and why they lied. A big part of why they lied is because they don't want you to know that there's other tribes, specifically black tribes, that exist beyond these ice walls. And I've talked about this way back in past lectures, like way back in 2020, 2021, but I never expounded strictly on the subject. I'm talking about it now, and I will expound upon it more when I come home and do live lectures. I'll go even deeper into the subject matter, where I'll be able to pull up more maps and expound even more than I can from over this phone. But just bear with me. We're going to walk through it. Okay, so you have an ice wall that surrounds these 7 continents that make up the world. Because when you think of the world, you really think of the 7 continents, right? They tell you that we live on Earth, and Earth is composed of 7 continents, right? Once again, Canada, North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Australia, and Russia, and Asia, right? These are based pretty much the continents. And these continents are surrounded by water. And that's the world. That's Earth, right? And they tell you that Earth is a spinning ball rotating 1,000 miles per hour on an axis, revolving around the sun, right? This is what they teach us about the planet, about the topography of the planet, about the topography of the cosmos, right? And this is the reason why a lot of people don't know anything about these ice walls, because we are going off maps that were shown to us in school. And you got to understand, in school, they gave us a curriculum. The teacher was forced to teach us a curriculum. And this curriculum was carefully crafted to miseducate and mislead us, not just the Aboriginal beings, the blacks and Latinos, of course, us first initially, because they took everything from us, but also to mislead white people, Caucasians, and not the rich and wealthy ones. I'm talking about the ones that have to pay taxes, the ones that go to work every day. You have 2 different tribes of white individuals, and I'll speak upon that in a later lecture, but this is why I say all white folks not bad. A lot of times my content is people hear this is a content, actually, these are divine lectures, so let me take that back. I'm not a content creator. But a lot of times people hear my lectures and they might mistake me to be a racist because I speak so vehemently against white supremacy. But that's just me speaking against anything that's evil. I speak the same way against black on black crime. I speak the same way against anything that's unrighteous. I am a warrior for righteousness. So anything that's unrighteous, I'm going to speak out against it. Whether it's a black person doing it or a white person doing it, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? You do some fuck shit that's not righteous, I'm going to speak out upon that. You are not going to be safe, because I have been sent here to destroy Satan, and his kingdom with the word of Almighty God. do have two different tribes of Caucasoids, right? One of the tribes was cast out. One of the tribes is part of the tribes that run the whole world today. The tribes that run the world today are the evil ones, the ones that work strictly for Satan and are aware of what they are doing and are literally being used as his physical instrument to push his satanic agenda on this planet. The other Caucasian tribe, they walk amongst us every day. They are forced to work jobs like us. They are forced to pay taxes like us. They also can end up in jail like us. They also are succumb to STDs and attacks of drugs like us. They also are a part of social engineering like us. But they don't know like we don't know. So what they do is they teach this same overall bullshit story of history to everybody. This is how it makes it so easy for, if you get a person like myself to come along, right, trying to unplug everybody from the Matrix, why you can get so many people, black and white, to come together against me and say, oh, he lying. What he mean is two suns. I don't see two suns. What he mean, black folks invented the pyramids and everything else. That ain't what they taught us in school. Mostly everything that we know about life, we go off what we was taught in school, right? It's very few of us do our own research. Very few of us take the time to go within ourselves to go on a spiritual journey to really find out who we are, let alone who the fuck everybody else is and what's going on the planet. Okay? So I said that to say, this is why a lot of people are not aware of these ice walls that surround these continents. But Operation High Jump was strictly about that. And the reason I'm bringing up the two different white tribes is because Admiral Byrd is a part of the poor white tribe. I'll call them that right now for lecture's sake. The poor whites is anybody. I don't care if they have $1 billion. I've always told y'all this. I make it clear. If you have to work to earn a living, or better yet, if you pay taxes, you would be considered a poor white. The true rich, wealthy white people don't even live on the surface. They live in underground cities, and they do not pay taxes. They do not work because they own everything. Okay? So they go for your Fortune 500 company owners. They will be considered poor whites too. Now, if you think of monetarily, specifically, like, well, how could that person be poor? He has $1 trillion. Well, you have to remember that the dollar isn't worth a damn. They gave the dollar a value. The dollar has no value. It's just paper that's printed up. And George Carlin said it best. It costs the same amount of money to print up the $100 bill that it costs to print up the dollar bill. The only difference is on this one piece of paper, this promissory note, they're writing $100.
You have 1 minute left.
They're writing $100 on it. And on this other promissory note, they're writing $1 on it. But if you look at the Constitution and the amendments clearly tell you that in order to pay off any debt, because the moment you go to shop from a merchant, meaning if you walk in the store and you want to buy a bag of chips, you are a consumer. Once you pick up the chips to buy it, you now are in debt with the merchant. In order to pay that debt, you can only pay that debt with silver or gold. They tell you that in their Constitution. So none of these dollars that they circulate is worth a goddamn at all. That's why Abraham Lincoln was trying to come out with the greenbacks. He was assassinated for that, but that's a whole nother lecture. Stick with me now, Cosmic Family. Alright? But the dollar doesn't have a value. What the value is in the natural resources. The value is in natural resources, I repeat.
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.
The value, I repeat, is the natural resources. Okay? So, why am I focusing on this? Because I want you to know that because a person has $1 trillion doesn't mean that they are actually wealthy. Because if you keep in mind the dollar has no value, the true wealth is the natural resources. The land, the air, the water. And that's what the people who took over the planet, I like to call them the archons, the fallen. That's what they control. Alright? And they do have the original 12 colonies, 12 tribes that are working for them. These are the chosen human beings that work strictly for Satan, that the world never sees. They live in underground cities. You'll never see these people. These are the true powers that be, that we are up against. Right? These are the ones running the world. We also like to call them the shadow government, the cabal. But like Donald Trump says in